Hey, what's up, witches? It's me, Luna, and I am here with an unboxing in celebration of the beginning of Pride Month. So if you are a member of the LGBTQIA plus community, happy Pride Month. I wish you blessings. I wish you, above all, safety, validation, acceptance, rights, all of that stuff. I wish all of that stuff for you. The box, or the box that I'm unning today, the deck I am unboxing today is the Queer Tarot by Ashley Malesso and Chess Needham, an inclusive deck and guidebook. Now, I want to tell you that I went with my kids last week. There's a little tear. To run around and do some stuff. And we went to a store called BAM Books A Million. They have a fabulous tarot section. And there were two decks that were very interesting to me there. And they were both by the same publisher. And I realized I'd never heard of this publisher. It's RP Studio. And I know that one of the decks was called Amenti. And I don't remember what the other one was called, but I've got both of them on my wish list now. And I didn't buy them because it's like, I'm not going to buy a deck today. I'm not going to buy a deck today. I put them on my wish list, and then we went to the mall, which, man, I haven't been to a mall in ages, and we went to Spencer's, and they had this deck, and I snatched it up. Instead of just sticking it on my wish list to get it cheaper, I bought it, and it is also by RP Studios. So that studio kind of leapt out at me. I'm looking here to see that this is torn, so I'll have to mend that. And it didn't happen in the mail, at least not coming to me. So RP Studio, this was a $28 deck. We'll look at the copyright inside. Queer Tarot, Ash and Chess. Same over there and there. An inclusive tarot for the queer community and those who love them. Tarot is about more than divination. It's a powerful tool, for self-discovery and self-love. In Queer Tarot, authors and artists Ash and Chess have created an inclusive, joyful interpretation of the cards to help you on your own journey. This deck was made with all queers in mind, all identities, body types, races, ethnicities, abilities, and sexualities, and features dozens of real queer folks to help inspire you, like FOLX. With beautiful risographed art that highlights LGBTQ plus symbols and stories, queer interpretations of the classic cards, and questions to consider during your readings, this deck will become an empowering and affirming part of your magical practice. This deluxe set includes 78 full-color tarot cards illustrated by Ash and Chess, sealed in an inner box, 176-page full-color Flexibound guidebook with sample spreads and magnetic closure keepsake box. Okay. I have deplasticed, so flexes something. That must be the cover. But what a nice book. The Queer Tarot guidebook, nothing else on the outside, great facing page. The copyright on this is 2022, so relatively new. Queerness in Tarot, the artwork, how to handle, shuffling the cards, choosing a spread, intuition, the deck, card meanings, model credits and card art descriptions. Model credits, ooh. Acknowledgements and resources. So let's take a look. The introduction is kind of long, so I'm not going to read that. I'll read a little bit. All right. Ash here. So there's a thing talking about the deck, just introducing you to the deck, but these are from the individual artists. So Ash here, I first truly discovered the beauty and significance of reading tarot through our friend Amber Birkins while we still lived in Brooklyn only a few years ago. Chess and I went to Amber's apartment around the corner from ours in Bedford-Stuyvesant for a small gathering of friends for a new moon party. Amber read tarot for each of us and led meditation and journaling, all while creating a cultivating and safe space for everyone to become vulnerable and open. I was afraid at first to have my cards read, and I was actually dreading it leading up to the party. Oh, so many approach that way. It's sad. Our friend Caitlin went first, and without Even knowing what her reading was about going in, we could all see the inner and outer workings of what was going on in her life that the cards were bringing to light. It was such a wild thing to watch, the power of these cards being pulled out and spread around the room. After seeing Amber at work, deciphering and interpreting the spread, I decided to go next. It was my first tarot reading ever, and it was about my mom and our relationship. After the reading was through, I was in complete awe. Okay, so it talks about their entire life. They had adamantly avoided tarot, psychics, fortune tellers, and the works, all because the Southern Baptist Christian religion I grew up in grouped all these things together. It taught me they were essentially a gateway to hell. Oh my goodness, we have so much harm to undo. Okay, so they purchased their first deck, and that launched them. Now, chess here, like Ash, I got my first experience with tarot at Amber's house. I'm more of a skeptic, so I went in doubting I would leave the space with any insight I didn't already have. I asked a very general question, and I recall being impressed by Amber's reading, but still thinking to myself, maybe my question was just that vague. Ash got more into it and always wanted to appreciate reading spreads with me. I begrudgingly complied, but didn't really ever feel like committing. In February 19, my beloved dog Boomer was diagnosed with cancer, and he began to deteriorate before my eyes. It became obvious quickly that he wasn't happy. I realized I was going to have to make a choice. Contacted a house vet. Ash had been pulling a card a day the whole time he was sick. I remember when the day came for Boomer to be put down, I pulled the World, the end of the Fool's Journey traced in the major arcana. It felt like the right card for the moment, and for me affirmed my belief that I'd made the right choice for my sweet pup. So that moment connected them. We both came out as queer way before we knew what tarot actually consisted of, but had we known that a stack of cards could have made coming to terms with who we are a tad bit easier, we both would have picked up the tarot in a heartbeat. So it was made with all the queers in mind, all identities, all body types, all races, ethnicities, like it said on the back of the box there. So we were able to cast real-life queer folks from all over the world to be a part of the cards. Let me tell you from experience, queer people are the cutest people. Oh my goodness. Okay, queerness and tarot. Why they're so relevant to one another. There's a lot to read here. Let me see. The illustrations and interpretations revolving around gender and sexuality are key aspects of this deck. Just because one gender identity is represented on a certain card doesn't mean your reading or understanding of that card should exclude all the other gender identities or sexualities that are out there. This is especially important to remember with the traditionally named Queen and King court cards, as well as the outwardly gendered major arcana cards such as the Emperor or High Priestess. Gender and sexuality are fluid and socially constructed, as are the many interpretations of each and every tarot card. When using this deck, embrace a more open worldview and let the harmful and restricting gender binaries melt away. This is an excellent tool if you're not LGBTQIA+, because it can help you step into that world, a world that, maybe you need some understanding. We can always increase our understanding. And also just to start or continue to practice new language and new frames for the way you think about culture and society and people. And it can be great brain training when we're trying to let go of those restrictive gender binaries. What a great tool. Each card in your deck features a real-life queer person. The model's name and pronouns can be found alongside each card's description. What a tribute! We felt that the only way we could really capture the queer community's beauty and essence was to illustrate actual people who are living their truths in their own personal ways every day. Cards are extra special because all of the original artwork was printed on a risograph. Risograph machines are these wild duplicators from Japan that look like clunky copier machines you'd find in an office. I used to work for a business that had a risograph. They were originally intended for mass printing in single colors, like for flyers or letters. Within the past decade or so, riso printing has taken an artful turn and is now evolving into a wonderful and experimental new way to produce art. Using soy-based inks, some of which are fluorescent or metallic. Wow! All right, so they go into detail about the riso printing and the coloring of the cards, how to handle shuffling the cards. A note on reverses. Choosing a spread. We have the spectrum spread. Past feelings, struggles, present feelings, hopes, desires, future potential, and action. The identity spread. Who are you now? What is keeping you there? Who you want to be? Chessie's good mood spread. Issue at hand, reflection on issue, action, reflection on action. New relationship spread. Purpose, overall vibe. You, what you offer, what you bring. Them, what they offer. If more than one person or partner is involved, you can build off a position 3 for each person. And 4, what to leave behind. Ash's new perspective spread. Situation or concern, and then 3 cards for new perspective. Desire spread. Your desires, what's keeping you from what you want. The goals spread. Goal, what to work on, what to avoid, physical action, mental action. Intuition, talking about the gut feeling. The deck, divided into 2 sections, majors and minors. Pip cards. Oh, the pip cards of the deck are comprised of ace through 10. All right. And constitute the bulk of the minor arcana. These cards usually represent situations, adding a little more depth and clarity in your readings. Usually. Court cards. Wands. Cups. Okay, so they talk about the elements with the suits card meanings. Oh, looky. So colorful. And then we start, the majors have keywords, big description, then we have reverse, and then things to consider. Then we have the model and their pronouns, and who else is in there? All right, when we get to the minors, we get keywords, same thing, keywords, a big description, and then reverse and things to consider. But obviously, since they're pip cards, I have a sad about that. We don't get names and pronouns. Okay. Acknowledgements. I like that the artists themselves talk about their motivation and stuff in the beginning. I skipped over a lot, so I don't know if they talk about, who was the artist, who was the writer. It seems that they were both. And we have a piece of glossy paper. So here is the inner box. Queer Tarot, beautiful, colorful, you know how much I love rainbows and spectrum, and ash and chess. That's so sweet. So I assume they're partners, but I don't know that. Bright pink inside the box. It's a pretty sturdy tuck box. So if you wanted to do away with the big one, you could, certainly. I'm never really that big a fan of a box within a box because it is excessive packaging in my view. Still, it's, a lovely way to do it. The cardstock's thick, yo. I love the backs, but this gonna be probably not fun to shuffle. All right. Here is the Fool. I'm tempted to go through, since I know these aren't, these are pip cards, that if we go through. So the Fool, this is Allet. We have beautiful hippie colors. This is, this reminds me of the 60s, the big flower prints and things like that. And there's their little dog. Here is Jewel, they, them, being the magician. So it is very familiar. Again, that kind of loose 60s hippie-ish art style. Then we have the High Priest. Man, these are thick. Oof. The High Priestess. This is Chala. And their pronouns are they, he. I like that the High Priestess is a person of color. I do. We have the columns and the pomegranate and the veil. So very familiar images, just not very familiar coloring. This is the Empress. This is Jay, they, them. I love that they included people. Real people. And the Emperor is Taylor Tucker, he, him. Hello, Emperor. Look at his pants. He got some pants. And the ram's heads, again, very familiar, but it's just so, it's a perfect deck for June, because it's just like, wow, it's like what it's like outside right now. The Hierophant, this is Albert Rios. He, him. Alex Luciano, she, her. And TK, he, him. The Lover's card. We have Pau Venedito, they, them. Valentine Darling, they, them. And Luz Miranda, she, they. So beautiful. So beautiful. And I just love that I'm going through here and I'm not talking much about the images, but I am speaking the names of the people in the images, and I hope that a blessing comes with that. It's certainly what I intend. Very modern looking. The Chariot. Chariot is Creature is a dog. Carly Miller, they, them. And Quibbler, a dog. Creature and Quibbler. Creature is Kreacher from a very popular children's book series. Then we have Strength, and this is Danny G, he, him. Hello, Danny. I love the rainbow there. The Hermit. Heather, she, her. Hello, Heather. It's nice to see a female in the role of the Hermit. A woman, not a female. We have Tara Shea Burke, she, her, and Muffin, FKA Mafia, the cat, formerly known as. And I mean, everything's very familiar. There's a little demon and the snake and the four. So that's the angel. There's the lion. How sweet that they found a way to put in real beings there. Here's Justice, Vico Ortiz, they, them. They, him, she. El, le in Spanish. Okay, taking a look at them. At them who embrace all the pronouns. That's wonderful. That, you know, there's the veil there, which I don't remember seeing in Justice before. So it's fun when you have a deck that is not a serious reimagining. The images are very familiar, but just when they're recoloring, it can bring to the forefront things in that those images that are so familiar that either you've forgotten about, but they've just kind of, you've gone blind to them, you know. Here's the Hanged Man. This is Ellie Bird, he, him, Eli Bird. Bless you. Oh, it's Pyewacket having a funny. Oh, bless you, Pyewacket. I didn't see sorry you're sneezing, my lad. There he is. There he is. I think. Never mind. He's back there. You can hear him. All right. Here's the Death card. Ricky Tyler, he, they. Grace Duong, she, her, and Jared Daniels, he, him. I'm glad that they didn't use an actual person for actual death. That was a good move. Then we have Temperance. Maddie, they, them. And what a beautiful... I mean, Temperance is such a card for this community, because it talks about a blending. It kind of takes us away from either or into both and. I really like the depiction here. There's a lot to look at. There really is. I love this in the back and the triangle. Just, yeah, beautiful. Very beautiful. So the Devil. Malik Ansari, they, them. Constance Shoemaker, she, her. And Angie Cooper, she, her. Then we have the Tower. And the keywords, change, revelation, awakening, the keywords are standard. We have Luis Miguel Sosa, he, him, and Danny Brito, he, him. Then the star, hope, renewal, happiness. We have Rylan M, she, her. And then the moon. Oh, look at the critters. Pepper and Cassio. The sun. Okay, wait. We don't have a person named for the sun. And I'm sure that's because this is a child. I don't know whether they didn't do an actual person because of it being a child, or they're just not naming them. Either way, I respect the decision. Judgment is Adrian Pangilinan, he, him. I don't know who, where, who, why, what. We'd have Lee Ellen Fanning, she, her. Melody Lee Rosa, she, her. Alex Teschel, she, they. Meg Thompson, she, her. And Sophia Khan, she, they. There they all are. Standing up to rejoice. And here is the world, Miranda, she, her. I love the clothing. And I love the 4 fixed signs in this card. All right, beautiful. Now we go into the pips, so we should clip along a lot faster. Here's the Ace of Wands, loving the fingernails. 2. Okay, wait. Okay, intense confusion. Intense confusion. The pip cards of the deck. These cards usually represent situations. So they're just calling the 1 through 10 pip, but they're not pip-ish. My disappointment is now gone. Now, they don't name people. Oh, they do name people. They do, but I'm not going to, because that's a lot of cards. I will leave something for you to discover, all right? So, there's the 2. Again, I love the clothing. I'm looking at this going, can I have this wardrobe? There's the 3. What we don't see is ships, not much into the distance. Here's the 4. The 5, look at the rainbow. This gives me the idea, closer to the friendly competition than the conflict meaning of the card. It kind of looks like they're trying to work something out together, build something. And then there's the victory card. The 7 of Wands. I like the tattoos that are showing. There's the 8, the 9, and the 10. Okay, so they are sticking very close to the traditional. Here's the page, the Knight, the Queen, and the King. I'm interested that they chose not to change the names in the courts of Queen and King. And I want to go back here and look, because the page, both the page and the Knight are fairly ambiguous. One could, assume. And the same with the Queen and King. Looks like a little chest hair there. And we could see, I am going to take a look at whether, at pronouns here. So the Queen, Riley M, is she, her. And the cat is Cannoli. And then we have the King, who is he, him, Vincent Webb. All right. The Ace of Cups, so bright. And there's the 2, and I'm sure the cat will be named, and the 3. So many people of this community, the ones that I know anyway, tend to be so joyous about their presentation, especially during Pride Month, you know. But people that are queer, you know, are already seeing themselves as outside of the restrictive norms of society, and those norms include clothing and how we dress ourselves and how we express gender, you know, narrow gender roles with narrow fashion choices. And so one of the ways that people who feel outside of that restrictive path can express themselves is just through clothing, and it's just exuberant and beautiful, and the colors here are too, and it's great. There's the Five of Cups. The Six, oh. Okay, I'm curious. I'm going to look up the Six and see what we have here. So the Six also does not name the people, and I am assuming that is because they are children. The sensitivity that you grow when you are so used to being harmed and dissed and ignored and invisible to the greater world is something else, and it shows here. There's the 7, the 8, the 9, and the 10. Page, Knight, Queen, and King. Pooting, says my phone. I love the boots. There's the Ace of Swords and the 2. No blindfold. The 3. I get disappointed about that because the blindfold, I think I said it in my last unboxing, the blindfolds are significant to me. When you have symbols that only repeat in a few cards, I think I want to shoot a video on this about groupings, card groupings, and everybody's got their own, but you have the cards that have the blindfolds, and you know, the 2 and the 8 of Swords. Some decks have a blindfold on Justice too, but when, you know, one of those blindfolds comes up, it says, you know, you might be unwilling to look at something. When both come up, it reinforces that. Here's the 4 of Swords and the 5. I love the clothing. The 6. And the 8. We do have a blindfold there. It's actually the knotting that goes over the eyes, and here's the 9. Very, very familiar. I like the astro signs on the quilt there. Interesting images down here. I wonder, now I want to look at a standard deck. Like I said, things stand out that may be in the standard deck that you've just gone blind to or never even noticed before. There's the 10. Page. The Knight, the Queen, and the King. Even to the way that the courts are facing, it follows the standard. The Ace and 2 of Pentacles. The 4. The 6. I mean, it's a feast for the eyes. It feels the colors, the word that immediately came to mind was fruity, that the colors are fruity and juicy. And I swear to God, I mean, that might be my awful subconscious throwing out a terrible slur, but is it though? They are juicy. They are juicy and fruity, and I want to eat them. No offense intended, seriously. Here's the 8. I love seeing just the diversity in all aspects of this deck. Gender expression, racial diversity, body diversity. There's the 10. The Page, Knight, the Queen, and the King. They're just exuberant, you know. They feel celebratory. Okay, let's get this deck blessed. I got my charcoal lit, but I don't have my sage lit. So, what a light, springy feeling deck. It does. It feels light because of all the wonderful colors and... Okay. By air and fire, may you be purified and charged. By water and earth, may you be blessed and made whole. And by the sound of the bell, may your spirit awaken. Guides and guardians, allies and ancestors, thank you for being here with me. Thank you for helping me do the work that I do, for being my channel, or my source. I'm the channel, they're the source. And I offer you fresh water. I offer you the fire of Azrael. Yes, it is burning. Good. I have actually smothered charcoals before when I haven't waited long enough after I lit them. Okay. I'm girding my loins. I don't think I'm going to like this. I don't like this. I can't even bend them, you guys. Let's try half and half. So once again, we have another newish publisher on the scene. Yeah, they're bent. Newish publisher on the scene that is putting out crappy cardstock. I'm so tired of this. And I'd like to know, if you're watching this and you really prefer this thick, unshuffleable cardstock, tell me why. Tell me why. And tell me, are you a professional reader? How often do you read cards? How often do you use the decks that have this kind of cardstock? How do you shuffle them? How do you see that you've got a good mix? I'm going to do two more here, and then we will cut and we'll split the deck and pull, because there's no other way to really get a good randomization. There just isn't. I mean, there is. You can throw them up and smear them around on the bed, and they do stick to each other. You know, if I kind of go like this, oopsie, and, you know, stack them, you sort of have to push them down. So they are matte, and they have that very soft feel to them. I don't think that's rose petal. I think the rose petal has more of a feel. Anyway, and see, they stick to each other so much that when you're cut shuffling, they fly out in clumps. So that makes it difficult for jumpers, because is it a genuine jumper, or is it jumping because the cardstock will not let them slide against each other? All right. Blowing away the grumpies. I'm gonna do some sage for me, because I get so very grumpy. You guys know me. I can't help it. All right, purge the grumpies. Purge the grumpies. Now let's pick a reading. Pick a spread. Goals. Desire. New perspective. New relationship. Good mood. Identity. Spectrum spread. I think we're gonna... Okay, and they give you uses. So we have the spread, and it explains... a classic spread in tarot is a simple 3-card option with the cards representing past, present, and future. The spectrum spread draws on that traditional formulation, but with a little something extra for each card you will pull. In this 6-card spread, you can navigate the past, present, and future with a reflection card for each, lending you deeper insight. Past struggle, present hopes, desires, future potential. Okay, you can navigate with a reflection card for each, lending you deeper insight. Okay, yeah, all right. I guess the reflection is struggles, hopes, desires, and action. All right, let's do this one then. For the collective. So, here we go again. I'm trying to, wait, something heavy. Trying to keep the book open is not fun. All right. So number 1 card is past feelings, and this is a question for the collective and how we feel about ourselves, like culturally, and how we've dealt with the LGBTQIA community. Let's do that. Where we stand in the world in this transitionary period, in this evolutionary period, and where we all stand with that. So here's past feelings and struggles. And then we have present feelings. Hopes and desires. And we have future potential. Oops, that was interesting. And action. All right, wow, we have 4 majors that came out at the end there. So this is major stuff. So here's where you can get an idea, when you're doing a reading with no question for someone, or even if they have a question, but most especially if it's just like general reading and you're looking for the handle, you lay the cards out, and it's like if you're doing a 9 card, you can look at that central card. Obviously, if you're doing Celtic Cross, it really leads you through the thing. But if you're doing, lay down the spread, okay, where's the handle? Where can I get a grip on this reading? You can start from the general and move to the specific. So the general can be, take the breakdown of the suits and the majors, so how many cups, how many majors, how many swords, all that kind of stuff. And that can give you an idea of the overall situation. Then you can look at things that really stand out to you. So here's 4 majors, boom, 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 and I was splitting the deck and pulling. So, bless you. So that's a standout to me, and it says things are major. Okay, so past feelings, we got the 4 of Wands. 4 of Wands is celebration and completion. So this was, I need to keep my finger in the spreads place. There. So our past feelings were partying and everything's fine. All right, I'm going to read the whole thing. Woohoo! Party! The 4 of Wands signifies that something has been completed or a special milestone has been hit. It's a card of celebration, which is why there are so many exclamation points in this description. Take a moment to acknowledge yourself and feel good about your accomplishments. If you feel like you don't have a reason to celebrate, just relish the fact that you're here in this moment, reflecting and working on yourself. You're probably doing better than you think, if not from your perspective, then perhaps from someone else's. Take the time to just sit back and celebrate where you are. If you don't like to celebrate yourself, celebrate those around you whom you appreciate. Now, this is Nick Charlie Perez, she, her, and Rachel Brown, she, her. Reverse says, maybe you aren't quite ready for the celebration that this card usually calls for, but you're on the road to achieving your goals. It's okay to be proud of the steps you're taking to get there, even if they seem small so far in your progress feels stagnant. Things to consider: when was the last time you took time to celebrate yourself? What is your ideal day to acknowledge yourself and the progress you've made? Take time to celebrate something today, even if it's the smallest thing. Now, in terms of the question, because I was asking from a cis-het person's perspective, right? Our culture, how are we doing in our culture? Our culture that is structured for the normal, those narrow definitions. So where do we come from? Our past feelings are, yay, we can celebrate ourselves. I'm normal. And then struggles is the 10 of Cups, which is the Happy Family card. All right, now this is going to be maybe possibly partly a wrestling match. Fulfillment, contentedness, completion, home. All right. The light at the end of the tunnel, the best outcome, happy, harmonious card that brings joy and fulfillment, good moods abound, clarity, you can appreciate the people who helped you along the way. Now is a wonderful time to bask in one another's company. So, this is past. And we have Brandon Connolly, he, him, and Michaela Seaman Connolly, she, her. All right. So the struggles. If I really put this in the context of the question as I asked it, we are coming from a place of, yay, we're great, we celebrate ourselves, and we're very proud of ourselves. And the struggle has been fulfillment and contentedness and completion and home. I'm going to keep going, and then maybe it'll make sense when I come back. 3 is present feelings. It's the Fool. I'm thinking I may end up picking these cards up and starting again. But, all right. Spontaneity, optimism, innocence. I'm going to read this whole one since it's a major, but then I won't read the whole rest of them. The Fool is the very first card in the major arcana, symbolizing the beginning of a long and fruitful journey. This start can be particularly scary at times, just like the anxiety of coming out to a new set of folks. However, the essence of this card embodies the innocence and naivete we possess as humans, and the very authentic and delicate root of your soul. It presents a choice to indulge your desires and embark on your wildest dreams without hesitation. What does your soul ache for? The Fool usually indicates stepping into a world in which you are lacking experience but ready to spring forward anyway. Your optimism will protect you in these untested waters and will block out all the fear and doubts that usually come with beginning something new and hard. This brand new journey is ready for you, and your raw desire and inspiration will fuel the first leg. A new beginning or just completely starting over is a great thing. It gives you the opportunity to learn about the task at hand as well as yourself. Keep holding on to the blind passion the Fool brings out in you. It will get you far. Reverse says the Fool appears in reverse when you're being naive when starting a project. Remember to have foresight and vision to direct where to go. Otherwise, you'll feel like you're lacking any forward movement. Things to consider. Do something you've always wanted to do. What is something you wish to learn on this new journey? Is there a dream you have always wanted to live but haven't had the courage to start? So that one was present feelings, like there's a new beginning. And I guess, looking at this deck and the way it's written, it is written for this community. So I need to look at this in terms of this community. Past feelings. Celebrating ourselves. And I guess this would be the recent past, really being able to celebrate yourself. And the struggle has been family, how you deal with your family and being able to have your own families. Legal marriage. Past feelings. Look at this. This is the Marriage Equality Act. This is marriage equality. We can finally, and these two together, they talked about a reflection card for each, but they really do work together. So the past is about we finally have equality, we can have our own families. And these in the present, we feel like there's a brand new start, and the opportunities are opening up for us. And hopes and desires that go along with that are the Hierophant. Watch this, I'll bomb the whole thing. Tradition, institutions, processes, and religion. So hopes and desires here are that we can have a new beginning in these institutions. So in the present, we are looking for a new start. And the hopes and the desires are that our reality, our presence, and I'm speaking as, as if I am part of the LGBTQIA community, which I am, because my son is trans. I am part of that community. I am the mother of, I am a supporter of, so I see myself in that community as well. But we are hoping to see our presence baked into these institutions just the way the cishet has been baked in. Okay, that's what the hopes and desires are. And then the last two are future potential and action. So the future potential is the Emperor, and even though I was splitting, I got, consecutive cards. Interesting. Structure, power, action. In charge and unafraid. People often see the Emperor as someone they can lean on and trust. The Emperor, to me, talks about responsibility, where the buck stops, and who makes the decisions. So it says that future potential is that we can really be the authority in our own lives, that we can do things according to our inner, to our own empowerment, We can feel empowered, we can feel authoritative, we can feel what I'm looking for here. We can feel true ownership of our lives, of the landscape of our lives, like we have the full choices available to us. And the action here is strength. I want to look at the things to consider with Emperor. Who's controlling your life right now? You or something else. You or someone or something else. Even though you're powerful, don't let it go to your head. You can guide others to discover their own power too. Stand up for yourself and your community. Remember, too much power consolidated in one person or place is not a good thing. But this is really about having the future potential of being that force to be reckoned with. You are now, but everybody else needs to feel it too. And then the action is strength. Determination, power, endurance. Access your wild side, but also recognize when it is taking over and controlling you. Find the willpower inside of you to accomplish anything. So these two together are talking about the future action being to really hone that inner strength of yours. These really are about authority and self-control. Taking the reins in hand. The Chariot is another card of empowerment in that way. But these are empowerment. This is an empowerment in intellect and choice and authority. This is empowerment in I am in control of myself. I am in control of myself. But it does, wow, okay. So interesting. It was a little, I started off wrong-footed because I was trying to use this deck like as an outsider looking in, and it's not going to let me do that. This deck truly is for the community, for the people of the community and their allies, and it is rooted in the reality of that community. Wow, okay. I love it. Hate the card stock. Love the deck. Thank you, Ash and Chess, for a wonderful thing. And happy Pride Month, you guys. Thank you for being here, my viewers, and being your wonderful progressive selves. And, thank you for being allies and supportive. And bless you to every member of this queer community. I bless you. I send you great blessings of safety from here and forevermore. And I bless you with visibility, with validation, with acceptance, all the things I said at the beginning. Bless you, bless you, bless you. All right, you guys. Again, happy Pride Month. I'll see you next time. This is Luna. Blessed be.